There once lived an ice maiden, and she lived in the ice kingdom. Everything on her land was covered in snow and ice. Iridescent white and luminous blue were all the colors that she has ever seen. Ice Maiden was born here, so she knew not of another world, and she loved it here. One day, however, Ice Maiden woke up, and as she always did, she walked from her bed to the window, and as she opened it, she noticed something unusual, something she has never seen before. She noticed yellow light. It was dim and not very well seen, but it was there. She followed it with her surprised eyes and noticed that everything that the light touched was melting. She shut the windows in horror and ran down. "This cannot happen," she shouted out loud. "Who are you, and what do you want from my kingdom? You may not take its beauty. Declare yourself." But instead, light jumped onto her dress, and it too started to melt. In horror, quickly she jumped away. She was puzzled, fascinated by the presence of something new, and yet completely unaware of what to do next. The light was not answering her. It simply jumped from place to place, melting it. It was destroying everything around her. She couldn't wait any longer. Her kingdom stood on the edge of the forest. It was known to be an enchanted forest, a forest where all the answers were. And there lived a witch in that forest, right in the heart of it, in the depths of the dark trees. The forest, in the contrast to Ice Maiden's kingdom, was black. Everything here was dark and black. Ice Maiden ran into the forest and shouted, Forest Witch, I'm seeking you, come my way." But instead she heard wind, and branches of the unseen trees caught her clothes and scratched her arms. She shouted louder, "Forest Witch, I need your help, please." She ran for days and nights, until suddenly she heard a voice. "I heard you called for me," the voice said. "Speak, child. Why are you here?" The girl took a breath. She was now where she needed to be. "My kingdom is under attack," she said. "You see, I knew not of anything but white and blue, and suddenly there was yellow, a light that came and started to melt everything around me. What is it? What kind of curse, and what am I to do with it? Please, Forest Witch, I need your help. I've heard you are the one to know all that is, and all that is possible. So here I am, risking my life, derobed and scratched, bleeding and crying, dirty and unclean. I'm here on my knees asking for your help." The Ice Maiden dropped onto the ground and touched it with her forehead. She felt a movement underneath her, a kind of movement one feels when they lie with their ear on the chest of their mother. "Return home," the voice said again. "What must be, will be saved. But child, I urge you to consider the new. What you must seek is not how to destroy the light, but the source of that. Find the source of yellow. You will have your answer there." The voice laughed, and soon the laugh turned into an echo, and as it vanished, Ice Maiden was back home. Everything around her was lit up by yellow, the white diluted by it, and the gold that was suffocating and eating blue. Blue and white were disappearing. Hysterically, she jumped up and started to look for where the yellow was coming from. But no matter where she looked, more yellow appeared, more golden light rushed in. She went to the right and there it was. She went to the left and there it was. She looked up and there it was. She looked down and there it was. She burst out crying, calling out to the Forest Witch. "I do not understand," she said. "How do I find the source of it? If there is no source to be found, everything around me is yellow. Everything is covered in golden light, and more I seek it, the more golden everything becomes." And as she shouted this out, she jumped into the ballroom. That was one of her favorite places, for she loved to dance with the northern winds and the snowflakes. She turned towards the ice wall that was a mirror wall, and suddenly she gasped. It was her own reflection that was looking back at her, and the source of light was in the middle of her chest. Golden light was shining out of it, radiating everywhere, as if she herself was somewhat in a golden ball that knew not of borders. She tilted her head and looked towards her chest. And as she did, everything stopped. Everything but the golden light. It was everywhere. There was nothing but the golden light. She felt lightness in her body. Her limbs stretched, and more plasticity came to her. Heat rose, and blood started to pulsate underneath her skin. And something in the middle of your chest started to drum. She took a breath and opened her eyes. Everything around her was beaming with color, radiant with blues and greens and purples and pinks and reds and flaming orange. Everything was so vibrant. And there she was, stood amongst all those colors, her kingdom no longer white and blue, but shades of all the other colors never seen before to her. She looked up to the sky, seeing a golden disk shine at her. What is this? This is sun, she heard. It was the same voice that she heard in the forest. The dark forest witch. What is this? She asked again. Who am I? Why am I no longer in the ice kingdom, and how have I survived? Is this a dream? The voice laughed. A dream that is real, and reality that is a dream. Everything evolves and grows. And this is your time to grow, said the voice. Ice Kingdom was where you were born. White and blue was what you knew. And now, in addition to white and blue and cold, you also know yellow and bright and warm. You're no longer just an ice maiden. Now you're also a fire one. And remember that if you ever get lost, just go to the edge of your kingdom and enter the dark forest. I will be there waiting for you to remind you where to find yourself. The Fire Maiden bowed to the voice and sent her thank yous. Eagerly she turned around and looked towards the sky, feeling the warmth on her skin for the first time, feeling the sensation of the pulsating warm blood in her body and the heartbeat in her chest. She took a step forward and headed towards the sun.